He was only 4 years old. Too young to run away. Too small to fight back. And when he vanished, there were no screams. No Amber Alert. No police helicopters. No city-wide search. Just silence. Weeks later, that silence was broken by the stench of death. A duffel bag. A playground alley. And inside, the broken body of Damari Carter. This wasn't a disappearance. It was a cover-up, failure, a tragedy, and a child who never stood a chance. Welcome back to Criminally Human, where behind every headline is a person, a choice, and a tragedy that didn't have to happen. Before the tragedy, Damari was just like any other 4-year-old, full of life, curiosity, and laughter. He lived in West Philadelphia with his mother, Dominique Bailey, several siblings, and Dominique's boyfriend. Despite some challenges at home, those who knew Damari remember him as a bright, playful boy who loved being outside and had a smile that could light up any room. He was the heart of his family, a child with dreams, hopes, and a future that, heartbreakingly, would never come. So how did he just vanish? On the morning of December 30, 2023, the peaceful neighborhood of West Philadelphia was shaken by a desperate call to the police. 4-year-old Damari Carter was reported missing from his home. His mother, Dominique Bailey, told family members a heartbreaking story, that Damari had been struck by a car. But when speaking to the police, Dominique gave a different account, claiming Damari had been kidnapped. These conflicting stories only deepened the mystery. As the police began their investigation, they quickly realized this was no ordinary missing child case. Officers and detectives from the Philadelphia Special Victims Unit questioned family members and neighbors, searching for any clue about Damari's whereabouts. Surveillance footage was reviewed, and searches were conducted in nearby areas, but nothing supported the accounts being given. In the days after Damari's disappearance, Dominique Bailey and other family members appeared deeply distraught, publicly expressing fear and desperation as they searched for the missing boy. Family and neighbors joined the efforts, distributing flyers and hoping for his safe return. Meanwhile, Dominique's boyfriend, Kevin Spencer, was seen around the neighborhood, though reports about his involvement or efforts varied and remained unclear. However, as police investigated further, some community members began to question the sincerity of the search efforts, especially as the conflicting stories unraveled. Then came a disturbing revelation. A neighbor, Tijuana Jennings, reported that just weeks before Damari was reported missing, she had heard horrifying screams and loud banging coming from the family's apartment. She said the sounds were so alarming that she feared a child was being abused. Jennings took action. She contacted Philadelphia's Department of Human Services and reported the suspected abuse. But according to her, no caseworker ever came. No follow-up visit. No one knocked on that door. Once again, the silence that followed that report would prove deadly. Then, on March 18, 2024, everything changed 2.5 months after Damari's disappearance. A sanitation worker was clearing debris in a narrow alley behind a North Philadelphia playground, just off 33rd Street near West Berks. As he approached a large, beat-up duffel bag wedged between a dumpster and a crumbling brick wall, something felt off. The smell, the weight, the eerie stillness of the scene. When the bag was unzipped, the horror inside was indescribable. Inside was the decomposing body of a small child, later confirmed to be 4-year-old Damari Carter. His remains were wrapped in black trash bags, stuffed into the duffel, and left to rot in the cold alley for weeks. Medical examiners would later confirm the body showed signs of blunt force trauma. There was no effort to bury him. No note. No sign that anyone planned to ever come back. Just a child tossed away like garbage. Hidden in plain sight while the city of Philadelphia unknowingly moved on. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community. The worst fears had been realized. Damari hadn't wandered off. He wasn't hit by a car. He hadn't been kidnapped by a stranger. He had died violently, and someone had tried to erase him from the world. As news of the body's discovery broke, investigators wasted no time. With the horrifying truth finally surfacing, police brought in Dominique Bailey, Damari's 28-year-old mother, and her boyfriend Kevin Spencer for further questioning. Dominique had already told conflicting stories, first to her family, that Damari had been hit by a car, and then to police that he'd been kidnapped. But now, faced with the reality of her son's body being found stuffed into a duffel bag, her lies began to crumble. On January 5, 2024, during a tense interrogation, Dominique confessed. She admitted she was involved in Damari's death. Although she didn't reveal the full story at once, what she did was confirm detectives' worst fears. This was no accident. Damari had died violently. Tijuana Jennings later testified that she heard yelling, slapping, and stomping coming from the apartment in early December. Investigators reviewed surveillance footage showing Kevin Spencer leaving the home on December 9 carrying a black Puma duffel bag. During the January 5 interrogation, Dominique Bailey admitted that Spencer had beat Damari frequently, describing a specific instance where he struck him until his head was swollen and his eyes were blackened. She said her son died shortly after the attack and that Spencer then placed the body in a trash bag, hiding it in the duffel. These chilling admissions, along with the autopsy results indicating blunt force trauma to the head, confirmed that Damari was brutally killed. Both Dominique Bailey and Kevin Spencer were arrested and charged in connection with Damari's death. The charges are as follows. Kevin Spencer, 30, is charged with murder, conspiracy, endangering the welfare of a child, criminal use of a communication facility, abuse of a corpse, false reports, tampering with physical evidence. Dominique Bailey, 28, is charged with murder, endangering the welfare of a child, criminal conspiracy, abuse of a corpse, false reports, tampering with physical evidence. As of now, both remain incarcerated. Spencer's bail was denied. Dominique also remains held without bail. Their preliminary hearings were held in 2024, and both were held for court. Additional proceedings are ongoing. Damari Carter didn't just fall through the cracks. He was pushed. A neighbor did what they were supposed to do. They heard something and they said something. This is not only on the mother but also the system.